800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
All right, welcome to the show. Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter. It's at Nick Geber. Well, today, it's November 22nd. It's a Friday, and it is, of course, the much-anticipated Albanian Alphabet Day today. So I'd like to wish everybody, all of our listeners, a very happy Albanian Alphabet Day today. We have a big show today. I say that every day, by the way, because we have a big show every day. Today, Chip Chirimbes will be joining us. We'll be talking a little college football, Duke at Wake Forest, Texas at Baylor, Memphis at South Florida. And then we're going to move right along to Tony Tellez. We're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to do some NBA. We're going to do some college basketball. We're going to put in a little Monday Night Football in there for you because we know that's what you want. And we're going to top it all off. Our final segment, the much anticipated, critically acclaimed NFL Rapidfire segment with Craig El Guapo Trapp and Sean Higgy Smalls Higgs. We'll be breaking down, well, pretty much all but about 4 NFL games that we have. So if you like the NFL and you want to get some pointers, you definitely want to stay tuned. By the way, Facebook.com/Picks Parlays. Twitter, it's Picks Parlays. I'm at Nick Geber. Find us on YouTube, just search Picks and Parlays. If you want to participate in the show, all you have to do, go to any one of our social media outlets, put in a comment, and we'll see it here in studio. We'll put it up on the screen, and we'll do our best to include you in the content of the show and mention your comment. I will read it out, provided it's not too rude. Actually, you know what? Today, in celebration of Happy Albanian Alphabet Day, I'm going to let you just put whatever you want on there, okay? We're going to take the rudeless limiter off for today, okay? Obviously, I won't read out any of the forbidden words on the air, or I will have the programming directors at Sports Byline yelling at me. Big hello to our men and women in uniform around the world listening on the American Forces Network. This is Picks and Parlays, and you can find us on the net, picksandparlays.net. We got loads of free picks. We got some of the best handicappers in the business. We're going to bring some of them to you today, so stay tuned. We're going to give you everything you need to make intelligent betting decisions. Up next, college football with Chip Chirimbes.
said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
And we welcome you back to Picks and Parlays. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter, unsurprisingly. It's at Nick Geber. I like to make it easy for you because I know everybody's so focused, singularly focused on these great free picks we're giving you for your sports betting that no one has the time. So I want to make it easy for you. Twitter, at Nick Geber. Even easier, the website, picksandparlays.net. That's where we have loads of free picks and expert picks for you as well. All right, I promised you some college football. Being that I'm a man of my word, who better to do some college football with than our very own star and expert handicapper, chicken dinner himself, Mr. Chip Chirimbes. Chip, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nick, and I hope we get to put some turkey on the table this week.
Yeah, we may have to change you to turkey dinner, but,
But turkey has such a negative connotation.
Well, Chip, it would be good for you because the L-tryptophan in turkey does tend to put one to sleep.
And hopefully not permanently.
All right. All right, well, we've curated three magnificently wonderful college football games to talk about for your betting pleasure. Why don't we start with the Duke Blue Devils at Wake Forest? Duke 4-6, 3-5-2 against the spread. They were routed by Syracuse. This is a big score, 49-6 last week, which made it 4 losses in a row for them, which is unacceptable. They're 1-4 against the spread in the last 5. Wake Forest 7-3, 4-5-1 against the spread. Currently on a 2-game losing streak. Kind of tale of two losers here. They lost 52-3 to Clemson. They also got tonked. They're 4-1 against the spread in the last 5. I got Wake Forest minus 6.5 with a total of 54.5. What say you, chicken dinner?
I anticipate that number is going to rise because of Duke's performance so far. I mean, talk about Devils. I mean, this team lost 38-7 to Notre Dame 2 weeks ago and comes back against a very, very weak Syracuse team. A Syracuse team that gave up 65 points to Boston College and gave up 491 yards rushing, and they get beat 49-6. The thing is about this is that this is an ACC matchup, and Duke is 6-2 in the last 8 meetings against Wake Forest. Nick, Wake Forest opened the season 7-1, and they were ranked a little higher. Now they're 19th. They dropped a little bit. They have a quarterback named Jamie Newman, and he has thrown for 6 interceptions in the last 4 games. And it's really one of the reasons Wake Forest has struggled so much.
I mean, Jamie Newman's, 2,338 yards thrown, 22 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. I mean, that is just not going to get you where you need to go.
And the interceptions have come in those 9 interceptions came in the last 7 games.
Right.
The first couple of games he didn't have any. This is the 300th game at BBT Field in Winston-Salem. The stadium opened in 1968, and now you know why Wake Forest doesn't ever compete on a major level. I mean, they're playing on a field, Nick, that's over 50 years old, and they haven't upgraded at all. So where are you going to get the recruits? You're going to bring them down to Winston-Salem to play? Or
well, they could do like USC. They could they could just offer them, take bribes.
So what I'm saying is that this Wake Forest team, which is 7-3, has done a great job with that, but I don't see this university ever competing on a big-time level, and that was my point. I think Duke, who's lost 4 in a row, like you mentioned, and 4 in a row to the points, is really in a point where they're going to have to scrape and put things together. I think there may be a little, the Demon Deacons here have fallen a bit, and their confidence level may be a little bit lower. That's why that line might be 6.5, Nick, after winning 7 of the first 8.
You might want to say they're not quite as demonic.
Well, you could say it. You already have.
All right. Okay. So what line did you have on this one finally? Let's close
you
this
gave
one
me
out.
6.5. I thought it was around 7. I anticipate it being 7 by game time because I don't see many backers coming with the Blue Devils here, even if they were wearing a dress. But Duke just doesn't get it done.
All right. Well, we've got a couple other choices of some couple other games we're looking at. Let's do Memphis at South Florida next.
All right.
Shall we? Number 18, Memphis, and 9-1, 6-3 against the spread. They are number 1 in the ACC, Mr. Chirimbes.
AAC.
Pardon me, AAC. Excuse me. I will get that absolutely.
Yep.
AAC West, I believe, as well, right?
Well,
and they're on a 4-game winning streak, beating Houston 45-27 last week. Top 10 in college football for scoring and yards per play. Pretty good stuff.
Great offense.
Total has gone over in 5 of the last 6 road games. South Florida, on the other hand, 4-6, 6-4 against the spread. They lost last week to Cincinnati. Close game, though, 20-17.
Right.
They're just 2-4 at home and 2-4 in conference play. 2-6 straight up in the last 8 at home. The numbers on this one, Chip, Memphis minus 14.5 with a total of 59.5.
You know, South Florida is not the team that we've seen in the past. They've always been very, very competitive. Though they are 6-4 against the points, they've only won 4 of their 10 games outright. They do hold an edge against Memphis, surprisingly enough. They've beaten them 12 of the last 18 times against the points that they played. But South Florida needs to win out to have a shot at going to a bowl game. I don't think it's going to happen. They're a 14-point underdog here. You know, this Memphis, like you said, Nick, they're 9-1 on the season, 7-3 against the points. It was a very profitable with a high-scoring team. They are 3-1-1 in the last 5 at South Florida, despite the edge that the Bulls have in this series. The favorite in this matchup is 4-1-1, but Memphis, like you said, has gone over 7 straight. They're 10-1 to the over in the conference. And Brandy White, their quarterback, who threw 5 touchdown passes last week against Houston, has 28 TDs and only 5 INTs on the year. South Florida, when they're playing a better team, Nick, has gone over the total 17 of 25 times when they're playing a team with a winning record. So I think both these teams are looking to fire it up offensively, and I don't see how South Florida can cover the 14. So if I had to play it, I would play South Florida and Memphis to go over the total.
Okay, so we're going to take the over 59.5.
Right.
All right. Next up, something in my throat. Texas Longhorns at Baylor.
It's better than that frog because the Horned Frog certainly went down last week with TCU. We're not too happy with their performance.
It's a big, nice. I like it, by the way. Texas 6-4, 5-5 against the spread, coming off a 23-21 loss to Iowa State, and they lost in a last-second field goal. Look, the problem for Texas is pass defense is really not where it needs to be. For Baylor, 9-1, 6-4 against the spread. They came back 2 weeks ago against TCU. Then they got a bit of their own medicine right back at them when they lost 34-31 to Oklahoma. Also to a last-minute field goal. So I guess, you get it both ways.
I don't know how Baylor's going to respond to this. They had a 28-3 lead against Oklahoma, and they would have been 10-0, sitting on the perch. But now they need to win one of their final 2 games. They have Kansas next week in order to get in the Big 12 championship game. I don't think they have really aspirations of being one of the final 4 teams. Quarterback Charlie Brewer has really led a balanced attack, Nick. He's 18 touchdown passes and only 5 interceptions. And 18 may be not all that impressive when you play 10 games. Mm-hmm. But he's got 9 touchdowns rushing as well. So he's counted for 27 touchdowns, and that has to do with Baylor's balance, which has been absolutely the crux of why they've won so many games this season. But in conference play, it gets a little bit different. These high-scoring games turn into lower-scoring games. They're 8-3 in their last 11 in the conference, and in the last 6 meetings between Texas and Baylor, all 6 have gone under the total. Texas, Nick, is 14-4 the last 18 times to the under when they played on grass. They are 7-3 against the points the last 10 trips to Baylor. But with these 2 teams and the number being so high at 59.5, I think Baylor may have lost their edge losing that game last week. And I don't know if they're going to be as efficient this week. Sam Elginger, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name for the Texas Longhorns.
Sam Ehlinger.
Ehlinger, right. He's got 27 TDs and only 8 INTs, shown dramatic improvement since last season. But I can see these two teams staying under the total.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, I saw this stat here. The under has cashed in 14 of the Longhorns' last 18 played on grass. So there's something about playing on grass that they're just not scoring as much.
Well, you're much slower. Your reaction time is much slower when you're on
You're
grass.
smelling the flowers, maybe.
Yeah, I
don't get it.
It's really something on the college campuses they ought to deal with.
Yeah, all right, Chipper, let's talk about this, Mr. Chicken Dinner.
Yeah.
The site, picksandparlays.net, your expert picks. What's on there right now, by the way, I want to point out, we have a special. What's the promo code? The promo code is?
SCORE.
SCORE! That's right. 15% off everything on the site, including this man, Chip Chicken Dinner Chirimbes.
Last night I had one NBA play, and New Orleans as an underdog wins outright for me. And tonight I have a 3-pack of 3 NBA best bet winners, guaranteed to turn a profit, or you won't be charged. Or unless you're involved in that monthly package where you get the 15%, and then you don't have to handicap the handicapper, Nick, and you sit and you get our best bets in each sport every day, which is the best value out there. Instead of having to pay $39 for this one and $29 for this one, it's one price for the entire month, and you sit there and collect in every sport.
All right, you heard it. Promo code SCORE for 15% off at picksandparlays.net. Chip Chirimbes, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. We'll be right back with loads more here at Picks and Parlays. Don't go anywhere. Okay, you're back with us here on Picks and Parlays. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. By the way, if you're watching us, if you're not just listening to us on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, if you're watching our live video on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, if you're watching us on YouTube and you like what you hear and see, and you certainly should, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on the notifications. You can see it, it's a little bell icon, so that every time we post a new video, you will be notified. All right, I'm your host, Nick Geber. I'm joined this segment by our very own extra special Tony El Tigre Tellez. We're going to cover 3 different sports, 3 games. Let's hear you roar, Tony. Shall we start with Monday Night Football?
Yes, looking forward to Monday Night Football, Ravens and the Rams. Of course, LA Coliseum hosting this game. And of course, the lines, we have the Ravens here laying 3, total 46.5. And, Lamar Jackson, I think Nick's going to be a difficult defend here for Rams defense because they haven't seen a player of his magnitude throw the football and run as effectively as he does.
Well, I mean, the Ravens running game is going to run into the Rams defense. Only the Jets have allowed fewer yards per carry than the Rams, though.
Yeah, that is true. And thing is, I'm still going to go ahead and go with the Ravens here at -3. The total sits at 46.5. And the Ravens that we talked about, really good form right now over their past 3 games. They are averaging 414 yards and 42 points a game. And they're running the football for 6.1 yards a carry. Lamar has been accurate at 76% passing. But the LA offense, I have to downgrade them from last season. They're just not getting the run productions, just 3.7 yards a carry at home. And, Jared Goff, unless he's supported by a really, really good running game, we're seeing the real Jared Goff here. He's just probably an average to below average quarterback unless he has a run game going for him. And you put a little pressure on him and he struggles. And I think the Ravens defense, they know that. Yeah. They've seen him on film. I think they'll be able to bring some pressure on him.
Yeah, Jared Goff is not showing any of last year's form, really, is he? I mean, it's been a pretty big disappointment.
Yeah, the thing is that he takes a long time in making decisions. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Mark Sanchez, where he just kind of takes a long time getting the ball out. He's a very, his reading ability. He's not a speed reader. What I mean by that, he cannot really look at the opposing defenses and make really quick decisions and it costs him. He's going to get hit. He takes, he's hit as a throw. He's going to take sacks, and the Ravens here, they're on a 6-game winning streak. They've won 4 straight. One thing to note with this Ravens team, they went into Seattle and they won. And these when you play these out of conference opponents, you only see them like once every 4 seasons. And the Rams, they have not seen this quarterback, and I think this is a big benefit here for Baltimore that the Rams have not faced Lamar Jackson.
All right, so the Ravens are 5-4-1 against the spread. They're 6-0 straight up. The Rams 7-3 against the spread. You're taking what, the points? What are you taking on this?
I'm going to go ahead and lay the points here with Baltimore -3. I've just not been happy with the Rams offense. Against Pittsburgh, 306 yards, 283 against Chicago, just 14 points per game here. I like the Ravens here -3.
And you think this is going to go under?
Yeah, that's a good question there. I was kind of looking at this total here, and the only thing that worries me here about the total here is if the Ravens force turnovers, because it can go over the total if that's the case.
Yeah.
I know the Rams will struggle scoring points, but I think the total is where it should be. I think that 46.5 is a good number, and I really have no opinion. I also, too, you got to keep an eye on the weather here. We should be getting a storm system again early next week, so keep an eye on the weather in this game.
All right, let's mark that one down as done. If you're listening to us, you want to be sure to write these picks down, unless you're driving, of course. But we will recap them at the end of the show for you if you missed any of them. All right, let's move along, shall we? Let's do some college basketball. We're talking Arizona State, 2-1 against the spread against St. John's. The Red Storm, 4-1, 3-2 against the spread. And right now, it does look like the Red Storm is rising. Arizona, though, had an opening day loss to Colorado, but they've made it 2 in a row since their most recently, they tonked that powerhouse Rider, 92-55. Absolute spankings. Pulled their pants down and spanked their naughty botties. St. John's, on the other hand, they are perfect, other than a close 68-70 loss to Vermont. They're currently the 7th best rebounding team in college basketball, although, as was pointed out to me on numerous occasions today, it is still early in the season. I get it. The total under in 8 of Arizona State's last 12, and St. John's is 4-1 straight up in the last 5. I got Arizona -1.5 with a total of 157. Roar, Tigray, roar.
All right, I'm going to go with Arizona State here at -1.5. This game will be in a neutral court in Mohegan Sun in Newcastle, Connecticut. Sun Devils only lost, as you said, to Nick.
Hold on.
Okay.
We got to look at these numbers again. If it's at a casino, doesn't that sort of change things?
Well, They don't take sports betting in Connecticut.
No, but they could be playing roulette or or slots with the kids before the game. Could be bad.
Well, listen, they play a lot of these tournaments in Vegas too, so it hasn't been anything that's come up yet. Although, who knows? You just never know in this situation. Listen, they play the Pac-12 tournament in Vegas anyway, so they've been around casinos and stuff, and I don't think anything to worry about here. But the Sun Devils. I gotcha. The Sun Devils' lone loss, as you said, Nick, came to Colorado. That game was played in China. But one thing about the Buffaloes, they're one of the favorites to win the Pac-12 because they have all 5 of their starters returning from a season ago. So I'll give Sun Devils here a pass on this one. But Sun Devils head coach Bobby Hurley not afraid to take on the big boys in those non-conference. I mean, last year they picked up wins in the non-conference against Kansas and Mississippi State, which helped them get in as an enlarged team in the tournament last year. As they beat St. John's in the first 4 last year, 74-65. They are going to return 3 starters back from last season. Their bench rotational players are inserted in the starting role. But with St. John's, is a coaching change. We're going from Chris Mullen to Mike Anderson. Well, he's known as running that 40 minutes of hell, which is a really fast-paced. Both teams are fast-paced. They both average 84 points a game. But again, with St. John's, it's a program in transition, bringing in players to play his system. Arizona State has played Hurley's system since 2015, so they're more seasoned there. When you look at their numbers, they're not turning over the basketball. They are doing a good job of forcing turnovers defensively, but transitioning into a fast-paced system, you're going to have your issues here with ball security. They're not shooting their threes very well, not shooting twos very well. Are these St. John's Red Storm? And I think Mike Davis is a good hire for the team, but it's going to take time to perfect this system. It's a radical change for the Red Storm. They do have that loss of Vermont, an American East school, but I think the Colorado team the Arizona State lost to was a better opponent than Vermont. And I would prefer here with the experience playing in Hurley's system with Arizona State here because they are limiting turnovers playing fast versus St. John's, who's just learning this new system.
So you're going to take the points at -1.5, right?
I'm taking laying the 1.5 with Arizona State.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, all right, let's move along. Let's do some NBA. We're talking about the Lakers at the Grizzlies. The Shizzle Grizzlies, Lakers at Memphis. Lakers 12-2, 9-5 against the spread. They're playing Oklahoma City tonight. They beat them 112-107 a couple of nights ago. It's a non-sequential doubleheader, I suppose, is the way to look at it, right? The Lakers are on a 5-game winning streak. The Grizzlies 5-9, 5-9 against the spread. Their last outing was a 95-114 loss to Golden State. Look, the Grizzlies haven't kept an opponent to under 100 points all season. The points on this one, Lakers -8. Total 222, which is like 666, but not really.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to go ahead and go over the total of 222. As you said, the Lakers will be on a back-to-back as they're playing Oklahoma City on Friday night. But one thing to note with LA, you got to really look at the home-road splits. And when you look at the Lakers' road splits, they don't defend as well on the road. They're giving up 109 points, over 45% shooting, and 38% from the three-point line. Now, the Grizzlies, they shoot the ball well on their home court at 47%, but, man, they are just a bad defensive team. Giving 47% from the field at home, 119 points. They sit near the bottom of the league in defensive efficiency ratings, giving up nearly 113 points per 100 possessions. And there's going to be a lot of possessions in this game, Nick, because the Grizzlies play at the 7th fastest pace in the league.
7th fastest pace in the league. Really?
They do play very fast. Yep, they play a very fast game. And one thing to note here, they may have they'll have better energy in this game because they're going to have 3 days of rest for this game, where the Lakers are going to be in a back-to-back. And
was it really a back-to-back? Oh yeah, because they're playing Oklahoma tonight, right? Of course, yeah, right. Of course, I just mentioned
it's going to be back-to-back. I think the Grizzlies will have a little bit more energy and be able to force the pace. And of course, a lot of times in these back-to-back spots, the coach wants to run, especially when you're a home team with rest facing a traveling team on a back-to-back. They're older than this young Grizzlies team. Grizzlies, 2 of the 3 highest volume shooters are 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
So that's why they don't defend. Their bodies just haven't been developed yet to play defense in the league. So when you have guys like Jay Morant shooting, the highest volume shooter there, you're not going to defend as well. And that's why I think the Lakers will find it easy scoring inside on this Grizzlies team, and also being able to score in transition baskets, because you're going to have a lot of 20-year-olds shooting, of course, and they really don't know the NBA transition yet. These players are just much more skilled and experienced than these Grizzlies defenders, and I do believe here we'll see a fast pace, and we'll see this game going over total.
So it's going to go over the 222. So you still like Lakers -8, though, over the 222?
No.
You don't like the -8?
I'm staying away from LA. I'm staying away from I don't want the minus. No. Yeah, I don't want to lay the points. I'd rather just play it over in the game, because it's just a back-to-back spot. And the Lakers defense not as good on the road.
Not as good on the road. All right, Tony T, tell us about what we can find of your offerings at picksandparlays.net. What's up there today?
All right, you'll be able to find, I've got the Mountain West Conference game between Wyoming and Colorado State up there. I also have an NBA against the spread winner for you over at picksandparlays.net. And I also have my best bet winner from college football up early for Saturday over at picksandparlays.net.
All right, now's a great time to remind our listeners and viewers that we do have a special 15% off at picksandparlays.net. If you want to pick up Tony's picks, 15% off. Use promo code SCORE and give yourself the betting intelligence. Give yourself that edge that you need to make better informed bets, which will, trust me, guaranteed to increase your bankroll. All right, Tony T, thank you so much. Coming up, our patented, much anticipated, and world famous NFL Rapidfire right here on Picks and Parlays. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Picks and Parlays on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter, at Nick Geber. You've been waiting for it. I promised it. I like to deliver what I promise. It's time for our NFL Rapid Fire, world-famous NFL Rapid Fire. I'm joined by our expert handicappers, El Guapo himself, Craig Trapp, and Sean Higgy Smalls Higgs, to do some NFL. Guys, welcome.
How we doing?
Well, I don't know where. There's Higgy right there. Welcome back. Welcome back to the land of the living. All right, we have, guys, we've got a lot of games to get to in the NFL, and so shall we get to them? Are you ready, Mr. Trapp? I think we're going to go with you first. Let's talk Miami, 2-8, 5-5 against the spread, playing Cleveland, 4-6, 3-6-1 against the spread. Miami's climb from the gutter ended in a loss to the Bills last week. Can Cleveland pick up the pieces after Myles Garrett assault on Mason Rudolph last week? That's the question. Gentlemen, I put it to you. Let's start with you. Guapo, fire away.
Yeah, the Dolphins have been point spread darlings here the last few weeks, so I like them to continue. A Browns team that is just not very good. 1-3 against the spread at home. That one win was the Myles Garrett assault game. Miami Dolphins, though, I think get back against the spread here. We'll take the 10.5. I like that extra half point on the hook, so make sure you shop that around. They're also 3-1 against the spread on the road, so let's take the Dolphins plus 10.5.
All right, Higgy Smalls.
I'm gonna go against the man in the new sweatshirt over there. Great sweatshirt. I love it. I like Cleveland here. Listen, this is turning into like one of those public dogs. The line was at 12.5 when it opened, and now firing down. I get it. Cleveland is a dumpster fire. They're, all the hype of them were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders, and here they are with 4 wins. But this is a team they should beat. Miami, yes, they've been covering a lot of games, but I don't know. This spot here, I'm thinking we're finally going to see a Browns team. Maybe they rally around what happened with Garrett. He's out there, and they say, you know what? We have the offensive firepower here. Let's do something. So I'm thinking they're going to have a little spark today. So I'm going to lay the big number here. I know it's definitely not a popular pick, but I'm taking the Browns.
All right. Okay, let's move along, shall we? Carolina Saints. Carolina 5-5 against the spread. We got the Saints 8-2, 7-3 against the spread. Carolina coming off a 29-3 loss to the Falcons. Kyle Allen struggling, though. 3 touchdowns, 9 interceptions in the last 4. The Saints coming off a win against Tampa Bay. I got New Orleans minus 9.5. Let's start with, we started with Craig last time. Let's mix it up a little bit. Higgy Smalls.
All right. Yeah, the Saints here, I'm liking it. I'm going to lay the number here with New Orleans. Let's go, New Orleans. Listen, the defense is good. You got a rookie quarterback coming on the road here. 4 interceptions last week against Atlanta, who had done nothing defensively. But Saints at home, give me Peyton. Give me Breeze, Carolina. Listen, the Cam Newton era is over, but we're going to go here. New Orleans Saints, lay the big number.
You're going to lay the big number on New Orleans. All right.
Yeah.
El Guapo, what say you?
Yeah, I think New Orleans is clearly the better team here. The Panthers last week, I think you started to see why, Cam Newton is solely missed there. Every once in a while, you just need a player that can go get you a first down. It's kind of like in basketball and the NBA where you can throw it to your superstar at the end of the game. That's what the Panthers don't have here. I love McCaffrey, and he's had a great year, but I think the load's been too much for him. I think the Saints cover again. They're 7-3 against the spread on the year. A lot of those, of course, when Drew Brees was gone, but Drew Brees last week looked back to himself. I like the Saints here with the big number. Lay it minus 10 here.
Interestingly enough, I'm looking, the Saints have held 4 of 10 opponents under 200 yards passing. You think Kyle Allen's going to manage to find his way through that?
Well, Kyle Allen's, the problem with this Panthers team is they can't pass the ball consistently. Was actually the same problem when they had, of course, Cam Newton, but it's even worse right now.
All right, let's move on. Next game, Seattle 8-2 against 8-2, 5-5 against the spread versus Philadelphia 5-5. They are 4-6 against the spread. Seattle, a pretty mediocre defense. They did beat the 49ers 27-24 last outing, and they are on a 3-game winning streak. The Eagles lost 10-17 to the Patriots. Now 6-2 straight up at home. I got Philly minus 2. Let's start with Guapo.
This is my NFL game of the week. I really like this one. Make sure you get it over at picksandparlays.net and start winning this weekend.
Got to go to the site. Use promo code SCORE right now if you want to do that. If you want to hear if you want to see what Craig's pick is for this one, go to picksandparlays.net. Use promo code SCORE. 15% off on the site right now. Don't be a numpty. Get over there. Make it happen. All right, Higgy Smalls, Seattle, Philly. Make it happen for us.
I got to tell you, I'm liking Philly here. I actually just used them in some of those Vegas football contests. I used them as a pick here. Perception is everybody's down on Philly. They didn't look that good. Everybody's down on Wentz and the defense, offense, injuries, all this and that. Everybody loves Russell Wilson and the way he's been flinging the ball, MVP consideration. I'm not buying it. Again, we got a public dog here. Everybody's jumping on Seattle. Lines come down from 3. Eagles, get it done. Let's go, Philly.
You are not convinced, are you, Mr. Smalls?
Not convinced. No.
No.
Listen, Russell Wilson's great, and he's putting up good numbers, but the defense is suspect. That's why he's putting up the number he's putting it up, because he's got to put up 30 points because the defense isn't stopping anybody.
Well, yeah.
Eagles are desperate right now. They're desperate.
Did I not
team
say
at
at the
home.
outset that it was a mediocre defense? Or is that being just too generous, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the worst ones. They give up a ton of points all the time. That's why he's putting up these numbers. I'm not taking away anything from Russell Wilson because he's delivering, but Philly's desperate. They need to win in a bad way. Bad way. So
okay, let's move along. We still got a lot of games to get to. Detroit 3-6-1, 4-6 against the spread against Washington, 1-9, 3-7 against the spread. Detroit. The question here for me is Matthew Stafford going to play? I think they lost to Dallas in the last outing. And Washington, well, it's all about a rookie quarterback named Dwayne Haskins. I think we got Detroit minus 3.5. Who wants to go next? First one to say me gets it.
I'll go on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, look at that. You're gentlemen. You're giving it to each other. That's lame. Okay, I'm going to choose then. Higgy Smalls, you're up next.
Yes. So I can't trust. If it's Stafford playing, it's one thing. If we got Driscoll in there, I listen, great. Marvin Jones having a great year, catching a lot of touchdowns, but I'm not buying Lions laying points on the road. Redskins are bad team, yes, but 3.5 at home, more than a field goal. I don't know. Haskins had some nice throws. Didn't produce anything, but I'm not as down on him as everybody else is. I'm going to go Redskins here, home dog. I just don't think Lions should be favored like this. This is if Stafford's playing is one thing. He's playing. What's it? 7? I don't know. I'm not buying Lions as a road favorite, even though they've been competitive. Give me the Redskins as a home dog here with the untested, troublesome rookie quarterback. I'm buying. Let's go, Ohio State alum.
Well, you know what? It's actually funny that you mentioned that, right? Ohio State. By the way, I go with the math. 1-9 equals bad team. That's the equation, the way I see it. All right. Next up, Mr. Trapp.
This is a yuck game of the week. There's always one every week. Usually it involves my hometown Bengals. This week it involves the Lions and the Redskins. Lions take the minus 3.5 here. Redskins, just not very good. 3-7 against the spread as well. Haskins, I thought his last year at Ohio State he had an unbelievable year. I just don't think he's ready. He only had 1 year as a really proven starter at Ohio State. I think that's showing now. I like the Lions here minus 3.5. They actually, remember, were up on Dallas a lot of that game last week, so I like this Lions team in a bounce back spot on the road.
All right, next up, Jacksonville 4-6, 5-5 against the spread against the Titans, 5-5 and 5-5 against the spread. That makes it easy for us. Jags, they got to work out how to stop the run. They need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. So a little bit of desperation time. The Titans hoping to repeat the success they had last time out against the Chiefs. I got Titans minus 3. Oh, Huapo. Let's go with you.
Well, remember when they faced each other early in the year in Jacksonville, Jacksonville won 20-7. I just don't think that much has changed. I think Jacksonville is a slightly better team here. I'm going to take the 3.5 points with the hook. I do see some 3s out there, so shop this around. Obviously, big advantage if you can get that extra hook here. Let's take the Jaguars plus 3.5 here.
All right. Does Marcus Mariota have an NFL career left, by the way? That's a question for you. No. Higgy?
Maybe in Chicago or with Cincinnati or with the Redskins, not in Tennessee. It's the Tannehill show, baby.
It's
Give me
the Ryan
Tennessee.
Tannehill show. Yes, it is. All right.
Yes.
All right. Well,
They're playing good with the guy. Let's go Tennessee 3.5. They're trying to get with that hook. No way. I said Tennessee by 10 here. Great defense. Listen, I like Foles. I like the Jaguars. I thought they'd be good this year. The guy's a proven winner. But what's it? It's week 12, and he's basically learning a new team. The guy played a quarter. He's got a game under his belt. Not ideal situation going on the road. Tennessee, tough defense. Bring their lunchbox to work. These guys do nothing sexy. They just beat you up on both sides of the ball. That's what we're going to do here. Wear down the Jags. The Jags they need some new direction over there. I know what's happening. Another lost year for them. Give me Tennessee, 3.5, no problem. 10-point winner.
You don't think the Jags' playoff hopes is going to be enough to motivate this team to put in that winning performance? All right, let's. Fair enough. Okay, let's move along. Dallas 6-4, 6-4 against the spread against the Patriots. 9-1, 7-3 against the spread. Cowboys coming off a big win against the Lions. The Patriots. Look, I'm going to say it. So shoot me now if you hate me. If you're a Patriots fan. His sell-by date is expired, okay? You are seeing the slow rotting of a man, Tom Brady. It's happening in front of you. At least that's my opinion. They should still win this game, though. We have them favored -6.5.
What an elitist.
I'm an elitist pig. I know. What can I say? And I know there are more than 4 people in Alabama, people. I really do. There's 6 people in Alabama. Okay, Mr. Trapp, you're up next.
Yeah,
They all have the same last name.
Give me the Patriots. I like the 6.5 here. Hopefully it doesn't go all the way to 7. I just think this Cowboys team, look who they beat. They really haven't beat anybody. Their schedule's been pretty easy. The Patriots, maybe you could say the same thing about the Patriots, but I just think this Patriots team, they find ways to win. This defense, elite. It doesn't matter if Tom Brady just isn't quite what he was. It doesn't matter. He just doesn't turn the ball over. I think the Patriots win the turnover battle. That's the key. They win and cover. Lay the -6.5 here with New England.
Maybe Tom Brady should get our promo code for the little blue pill, make him what he once was. All right, Higgy Smalls.
You know what? I got a top best bet on this game, so you got to go to the site to get it. And, hey, if you're in Atlantic City Sunday, you can watch a game with me, and they can get a sweet shirt like this or a hat or a sweatshirt like Craig. I got it all for you on Sunday in person.
Go visit Higgy Smalls. What, in Atlantic City, AC? Which
Yes.
book you at?
I'll be at Bally's at the book, at Bally's Wild
Bally's
West.
at the book
It's
in Atlantic City.
It's the biggest sports book in AC. It's great.
All right, yes, I know it well. All right, let's move on. One final game. The Green Bay Packers, 8-2, 7-3 against the spread against the 49ers. They're now 9-1, 5-4-1 against the spread. The Packers can take control of the NFC West. Great timing, though, because the 49ers, they've looked a little bit off the last couple of weeks. Although the points here, I think we have Niners -3. Let's go with El Guapo.
Yeah, this one comes down to, do you believe how good this San Francisco team was at the beginning of the year when they were able to rely on a very good running attack? Or do you like the last 2 weeks when they've not looked great? Remember last week, they did get that cover late. If you had it at 9.5, a lot of people got a push. If you call that a push, they're 1-3-1 against the spread in the last 5 weeks. Packers 7-3 overall against the spread. If you cross out that game where they just, I don't know what happened against the Chargers. If you cross that game out, Packers have been really good as of late. Let's take the Packers. I think they went outright. Let's take the 3 points just in case you're there.
All right, we have got 30 seconds. Let's have it, Higgy Smalls.
I'm agreeing with the boss man here. Packers, listen, bad showing last time in California. Niners banged up running backs, banged up offensive line, injuries. Quietly, Aaron Rodgers, 17 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions, doing what he does best. Doggy out right here. Doggy out right.
All right, you got it. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. You've been watching and listening to our NFL Rapid Fire. If you've missed any of it, find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or on the Believe Podcast Network. Coming up, a recap of everything you've heard today.
sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912.
This is an urgent health notice for all residents suffering from back, neck, knee, and wrist pain. You may qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you, but the deadline is fast approaching. Simply call the Health Alert Hotline now.
You heard right. You may qualify for a pain-relieving back, neck, knee, or wrist brace. These items may even be covered by Medicare or your private insurance. The Health Alert Hotline is your brace company. These specialized braces have been tested for pain relief. Call us toll-free right now to determine your eligibility and to learn how to use your private insurance or Medicare to minimize your out-of-pocket cost. Don't wait. If the deadline passes, you may lose your opportunity to get a pain-relieving back, neck, knee, or wrist brace at little or no cost to you.
800-430-9571. 800-430-9571. 800-430-9571. That's 800-430-9571.
Welcome back, Picks and Parlays. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. We've had a great show today. They're all great, quite frankly, but today was just that little bit greater than usual. We had Chip Chirimbes. We're talking some college football. We had Tony Tellez. We did a little bit of everything, and then we had our NFL Rapidfire segment this Albanian Alphabet Day. Maybe we should mark this one down in the calendar and celebrate it every year. Well, look, if you missed any of the picks that we gave you during the show, this is a great time for you to grab a quick pen and, to quickly grab a pen and paper, because we're going to recap them for you. So let's take a look. We started off with Chicken Dinner himself, Chip Chirimbes. We did some college football. We had Texas at Baylor. We said take the under 58.5. Duke at Wake Forest, take Duke plus 7.5. And Memphis at South Florida, take South Florida plus 14.5. Then El Tigre was roaring. We gave you some NBA, some NFL, and some college basketball. We started off, though, with Monday Night Football, Ravens at Rams. We said take the Ravens -3. For college basketball, Arizona State at St. John's, take Arizona State -1.5. And our NBA pick from Tony was Lakers at Grizzlies, take the over 222. And then our NFL Rapid Fire pick, where we gave you more NFL games this weekend than you will know what to do with. El Guapo himself, Craig Trapp, Dolphins at Browns, take the Dolphins plus 10.5. Seahawks at Eagles, take the Seahawks +1. Jags at Titans, take Jags plus 3.5. And Sean Higgy Smalls Higgs, Dolphins at Browns, take the Browns -10.5. Lions at Redskins, take the Redskins plus 3.5. And finally, the Packers at 49ers, we said take the Packers +3. Those were our picks. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, go to our website, picksandparlays.net. Right now, special offer, 15% off everything in your shopping cart. Put in promo code SCORE. Have a wonderful weekend. May your fun be epic and your bets win big. And most importantly, remember to bet, win, repeat.